So I want to start off today congratulating Scott. He bought another bike. And keep in mind, Scott, now that means you have 3 bikes now. 3 is a nice number, but you know what? 4 is even nicer. And you know what? 5 is even nicer. And 7 is even. It never ends. It's like a disease. Once you get started, you never have enough. And then if you do the evil twin projects, the 8 bikes become 16 or 15 or something. Anyway, our stuff dried up. Oh boy. In a cold garage. It was below freezing last night. We got snow expected this afternoon or tonight. We'll bring these parts into the house. Whoa. Even I'm impressed with that. That really dried up nice. But of course, the key now before I buff anything here, it's got to definitely be a couple days under the heating vent. In this time of year, one of my unfavorite jobs, keeping a pond clean. You can see every morning I have 8, 10, 15 minutes of scooping out the leaves off the pond. And after being out in the tundra and cleaning that pond, what could be better? Oh, it's good to be in a shop. We're going to have a shop day, I see. And of course, we're still in the holiday season, and one of the things we love here is relaxing, having our cup of coffee, checking out the Christmas tree, and making sure we have a clean pond. So the whole idea, for anybody who doesn't understand, we brought the parts in. They're under a heating vent now, and these are going to dry, and then of course they'll get buffed. But a couple of days under the heating vent, hey, look at that handsome guy in there. And that's the test, that Bentley Black. Oh boy, is that nice. I just am so excited about seeing this now. We're ready to pull the tape on these parts. Maybe even get some clear on before this this storm comes in. We got a windshield to work on. We got more carbon fiber parts to buff. This time of year, every day in this shop is an adventure. Every day is just a little bit different, and I wouldn't want it any other way. No matter what the temperature is, I always would rather have a little bit of heat to get those nice crisp lines. Get that tape to just come back at exactly 90 degrees. Now the whole idea, of course, with the pond is to, and it's labor intensive for sure, is to keep it clean as possible, because the fish are already in hibernation, and very, very soon we're going to freeze over for the winter. And so I don't want to have all that gobbledygook down at the bottom of the pond when that happens. All right, so I'm going to just basically take the backmasking off of this. If it's my lucky day, it doesn't start snowing yet. It's not supposed to snow till tonight. But what I would really like to do is get some clear on this. That would float my boat, that's for sure. And this will be one more part. See, the idea is to get the parts in clear, get them to go through the dry cycle and hardening cycle, and then at the end of it, have always, because of leapfrogging, always have some parts on the bench that if the weather really goes bad, we use that time when the weather is really bad for the obvious stuff, buffing. And that's the nicest part sometimes, because you're right inside, and the coffee's always warm. And the cookies are always warm too. Yeah, the tape pulled up nice. Now, it's just a question now of trying to wait for the prime part of the day to paint, because it's still below freezing out there. And Karen just came down and told me it's not supposed to snow till tonight, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. Tack rag these down as good as I can and make sure there's no little overspray, that little gold overspray anywhere. I want that black to be Bentley Black. I don't want to have that, what they have on a tank. Of course, they want it to be that way. They want it to be a sparkly finish. I want this to be a no sparkly finish anyway. And as I've mentioned before many times, we've had really good luck so far with the Gavco Clear. Really no difference than the 5-star that I can see. And we have had, well, we're getting near the end of that gallon. We're going to have to go buy another gallon soon. Now, in between coats, I'm going to let this sit out in the garage for at least an hour, and then try to get on a second and maybe a third coat, depending if it's, well, how the weather's going to play out. You never know how the weather's going to play out. Time to see how this is drying up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I love that gold. If you only could see that in real life. I know it does. I've looked at it even on my widescreen TV. It doesn't come close to being what it looks like in real life. It really is. I think it's going to be a pretty cool color. Now here's the best way I know to celebrate. There's nothing better in this cold weather. Waiting for snow, waiting for paint to dry. Come on, coffee. Now, as can happen in my life, I have just been informed that the new priority of the day is we need a few errands done. And of course, I'm going to have to make some changes here. I originally thought that, well, I thought I'd get a lot of these parts buffed out, but I think what I'm going to do, based on the fact that I have to make this a short day, I'll get the rest of the clear on those mirrors and hope it doesn't snow too much tonight. Now, I always think the hardest thing to do when you come up with a custom paintwork, custom motorcycle or whatever, there's a decision you have to make. Do you want it to be very subtle, or you want it to really jump out and grab you? And when I did the 750, and I had my good friend Kent Tyser had his green Camaro, and I was just thinking, wow, I love that color. I saw a couple of them in the sun, and I said, wow, would that look good on a motorcycle? Well, it's up to you to decide whether I was right or not, but I accepted the fact right away that would be kind of a standout color. The R1, more subtle, kind of just fades into the background, nothing, no stars and stripes or no flames, nothing like that, but yet you look at it and say, gee, that's not a stock part, that's not a stock, well wait, that's not stock, oh, where did you get those headlights? Oh, I didn't see one with silver rims before. Well, you know, that's the whole idea of this. And the point is, every one of them comprises a different adventure, a different vision that I had. And I had this vision of the FZR, even just the lettering. I had that vision in my head for so long, and thanks to John Pothier, it became a reality. That paint stripe had to be one of the most intense things I've ever painted. I'll bet there's 100 hours into that paint stripe. And when you look at it, you might not even realize it. You might think, ah. In fact, I was watching YouTube last night, and I'm not putting this down. I'm just thinking, well, there was a guy restored an old FZR. I'm not sure if it was a 600 or 1000. And he did it all with decals and tape and stuff. And I said, well, hey, that's a real inexpensive, quick way to do it. But this is what works for me. And no matter what, I want that really nice shiny finish. Without that shiny finish, and I know Scott just bought another motorcycle and it's all flat black. Well, Scott, I think you should buy some paint. If you like flat black, hey, this is not that kind of a sport or a hobby. You really do whatever you really do want to do, but I like that shiny paint. And it is so easy to maintain. So today has that look of it's going to be a very short day. I didn't expect it to be this short, but we do have errands to work on. And if we get back, I may have an hour left at the end of the day, but just knowing that this is out in the garage drying is making my day complete already. So here's the beauty of leapfrogging. These parts are only a day or two old. This one's only 1 day old. This paint is still soft. This paint's a day old. It's soft, even though it's under a heating vent a couple of days. This part, yeah, that's more than a couple of days old. I could buff that out. And we already know that once it's buffed out, it's going to look like jewelry. So, but there's no rush on that. That's a nice little part. I can use that as filler at the end of the night, or if Miles sets the house on fire while we're waiting for the fire department to get here. The windshield, I'm not sure how I want to do it yet. So, again, this is all part of leapfrogging. I know I have one of those parts that I still have to buff. But here's the beautiful part, and this is what I always like about this whole thing, is this part, I did one of them. This one I didn't do yet. This I can still see the little dust in it and everything. So, because I have about an hour before we're ready to go out, I can get that wet sanded out. And by being flexible, I don't lock myself into one thing. All the paint that I wanted to do today is now in the garage drying, so the rest of the day I actually can spend just... This is like being a cherry picking apart and buffing. So, and to me, that's a very relaxing hobby. And the couple of things that have made this very, very easy. This brand, and I don't know if I'm running out of this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to buy this. I may have to look online. But I do have other 2000 grit paper, but I know this works so well. This really was, Mark Morgan was the one that found this, and Mark, boy, he bought us a sleeve of that, and we worked on one of his bikes on it. It buffed out like jewelry. I always try to stay flexible. I always try to have some parts that, in this case, I have, you never know, because Karen could change her mind again. But I always work around the family obligations first, and once all the errands are done for the day, and all the presents are wrapped, and all the sugar plums are dancing in their head and whatever, the rest of the day is mine. And sometimes that works to my advantage, and sometimes I have to work around. I have to be a team player. I have to take one for the team. But what I always try to do on every video, this one will not be an exception, because I know people, they're scanning the internet like I do, and they stumble upon my channel, and they say, oh, wow, that's good information. I could use that. So they go look at another video, and they say, oh, that's good information. So we try to at least put some useful information, even though we're basically, trying to share our passion every day, this passion we have for doing motorcycles and airplanes. Well, the airplane channel has about 1,000 videos, 800, I think. Paul had them out there. But the motorcycle channel, we're coming up on 1,700 here. That's a lot of videos. I don't know how many other people. The guy with the Bugattis doesn't have 700 videos, so I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to show that always in real time how long it takes to make it flat. Once it's flat, I'll do the whole rest of the part basically off camera, and we'll be ready to buff, or Karen will be ready for it. We never really know. Now, every restoration that I've ever done, there's mechanical work, taking a bike apart, putting it back together. There's things that you replace, like on the FCR, replace the forks, or you replace the wheels on the 750, or something like that. Tires, brakes, any maintenance you do along the way. But the major part for me of a restoration is the taking the parts that are going to be painted or refinished and making them perfect. And I really put a lot of energy and passion into getting these parts detailed out. And I wanted to show this as an example. I may have shown it before, it doesn't really matter. Once these parts are dry, before I ever go anywhere near a buffing pad or a buffing compound, I look for there's a little spot right there. And these are spots you'll never see. In fact, this one's probably covered by the seat. But if you make it your mission early in the project to be very, very fussy, it seems like it grows, and then you're never satisfied. It's like being a connoisseur. Once you have the best pepperoni, you don't want to go back to that store-bought stuff, you want to have the Luciano pepperoni. But anyway, I'm looking around, and usually the test for anywhere there's paint, where it's a change of color, is I don't want to feel it with my finger. I want to close my eyes. There's a little shiny spot there. What that means, I've got to get down there by hand, not with a block, and go at about a 45-degree angle. Then go at a 45-degree angle the other way. 45. I don't want to go with the part if possible. When I see that'll get rid of that little shiny spot. And boy, I can't emphasize enough. My family, I don't know how different my family is than your family. Can never tell, but and it's irrelevant because I have to be flexible. The things that I do during the day, that cleaning the pond for one, and babysitting Miles, and Karen and I visit our friends a lot, and it's complicated. So what happens is I try to treat each day like I'm going on an adventure to Disneyland, and how many rides do I want to go on? And then at night I want to watch that Bugatti channel and find out more about. And it's turning out to be, that Bugatti channel is linked to my channel now. So whenever I look at my video on a big screen TV, and then about 10 videos into it, or 5, up comes the Bugatti channel. And the guy is really cool. I think he's a passionate guy. He really has a passion for, except his passion is a little more pricey than mine, but we still have the same passion. Now, just to mention one of the things, and I know this is probably something most people wouldn't think about, but because Scott's doing this, hopefully doing his restoration, his old Suzuki. But anyway, here's a point. I remember the last bike, I took the whole bike apart at one time. I had an H2, a triple, and I decided I wanted to paint it black. Actually, I painted it black with a gold stripe. And so what happened was, I decided I was going to take the whole bike apart. It was winter. Take the whole bike apart at one time. I was going to put expansion chambers on it, and I did. Painted everything and pulled it apart. It was down to just the engine and the frame. And then I did all the wet sanding, and then I did all the priming, and I did it was like working in a body shop, and I hated it. At the end of it, I said, I got to come up with a better system, and I think this is the better system. I think the way I call it leapfrogging, but I know other people don't agree, and they say, take the whole bike apart, and yeah. But I think what this does for me, it allows me to fit the restoration into my lifestyle conveniently without subjecting Karen to, that I'm bored every day. Because the problem with me is I get bored easily. After a couple hours of wet sanding, I want to move on. I want to go polish something. Then after 2 hours of polishing, I want to go drink coffee. And 2 hours later, I have a short little span of attention or something. But anyway, and the way I show this over and over again, I know, like I was introduced to the Bugatti channel, and I was fascinated by it, and I've watched pretty much all of his videos, but it's still fascinating to me. A person with passion is a very different animal than a person without passion, and sometimes you can't explain why that is or how it is, but it is. So, and all I can ever do on my videos is share my passion. Okay, so we are ready to buff, but at the same time we're ready to buff, Karen is ready to go out on her errands. So I think we'll give Karen a priority today. She has door-to-door service. Hey, is she lucky? Oh my God. Oh my God. So the way this played out, Karen decided to go to lunch with her lady friends and send me with a honey-do list. And I see a couple of snowflakes coming down already. Oh man. And it wasn't that long ago that everything was green and beautiful, and there were leaves, orange leaves, yellow leaves. And now we have, what are these? That's the Grinch who stole Christmas over there. Oh, I love doing errands by myself. I just dream about the days when I used to just come around here, pull in the driveway on a motorcycle, give it the gas a few times. And I always acted as if it would never end. Well, the summer ended. I'm gonna get back to work. And we're back from all our errands. Oh man, it's Christmas time. It has been busy. We are in and out of the house. There's no end to it. At least we have cookies to fuel us up. Anyway, the 4CR is the compounded choice, and these parts should buff out whatever time we have left in this session. That is just no substitute for patience. when you're doing this. I always like to do one little spot in real time, but basically there's nothing, it's redundant. It's an over and over thing. And it's a great way when the weather's terrible like this. Having parts to buff is a nice, relaxing thing to do. Now, I'm sure some people don't think it's that relaxing. I'm not sure. All I know is I get a lot of satisfaction out of doing this and seeing these parts shine. And come springtime, when we put this motorcycle out in the bright sunlight and the fish are back out of hibernation and flowers are blooming, and of course, if I find the Fountain of Youth, that would be nice too. But I just wanted to show just about how long that kind of goes pretty quick. That 4CR product is really wonderful stuff. As always, a few little spots on this, on any part, that have to be done by hand. Now this edge right up in here, I don't even think you see this, to be honest. When the seat is on the bike, I don't think you're going to see it, but I want it buffed anyway. And since we're just waiting for Karen to call, whenever her and the girls go out for lunch, sometime it's an hour, sometime it's a long time. They have a good time together and gives me extra time to buff. Anyway, we have one last thing to do today, and I know this is hard to believe, but we have to deliver some cookies. Miles is homesick from school today, so of course Karen made some cookies for him. That'll cheer him up. And maybe I should call in sick today too. Maybe I'll get some cookies. Anyway, it looks like we've added another piece, and this just takes a lot of time, and well, sometimes it does get boring, but at the end of the day, when I see all the parts in one piece, wow, it changes my whole opinion. Oh, that just buffed out beautifully. Oh, absolutely. I see that gold changes color even in fluorescent light, but boy, once you're out in the sun, that gold just comes to life. It's amazing. That's amazing, amazing to me anyway. And I've mixed a lot of paint in my life. That's one of my favorite colors. So those parts, that's just one more part in our inventory of stuff. And what this reminds me of is when we did the stonework on the backyard, we contracted out with a company, and they came up with a plan that I would have been able, where I have a Bilco door in the back of the shop, I could have widened that door and put a ramp in instead of stairs, like a handicap ramp, and what it would have allowed me to do is bring motorcycles down in the cellar. And at the time, we had just, not far from that time, bought the house and whatever, and we weren't in the mood to spend the money. But boy, as I look at the parts now, and I just think, boy, if there ever was a time I regret that I didn't have the extra money, it was about $10,000 to do it too. I didn't have it. And right now, to be doing these jobs totally in a heated, air-conditioned shop, it would have changed my whole life. But I guess that's the way all of life is. But one thing really does change my life is when I have something like this at the end of the day, and I look at it and I go, wow, that's my whole life. That's what I've wanted, shiny stuff. But as Karen always correctly reminds me, you know, if you had it so easy and if you worked in an air-conditioned, heated shop, and yeah, maybe you wouldn't be such a big tough guy like I am now. Little does she know that not really that tough. In fact, I don't know how tough I am, but I'm not getting tougher as the years go by. Anyway, I have to go pick her up. She's done with her jaunt with the girls, and we're on a cookie delivery mission. I think you'll enjoy this. Time to pick up the girls. This is always my favorite time of the day, and then we're going to deliver cookies. That's that is my favorite. It's really been a great day so far. Oh, I hope they're ready. Oh, there they are. I caught them now. I guess the strippers are all leaving. Oh my God. Oh, they got goodies from me. I know that. This is Grammy's personal cookie delivery service.
Have you been a good boy?
Look at what Grammy
Mommy,
brought
have you
you.
been a good boy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Grammy.
See the cookies. How many cookies are there? Ooh, they're delicious. So we heard Miles playing the piano, we ate cookies, and we visited, and God, what a day this was. I originally started out thinking I would make this video like a day in the life of Windy, and you never know where that's going to go. The day can change on a moment's notice. Anyway, now for people that have never been actually to the house, this is really a true thing. Here's where we paint, of course. And when we had this stonework done many, many years ago, and I think I still have some pictures of it with the backyard all torn up, they could have made this like a handicapped entrance to the house, and I could have been taking my motorcycles down those stairs. Oh my God. I actually did get the RD down there. I took it apart to take it down there, but boy, what a mistake it was not doing that when we had the chance. And now, of course, it's just impractical to do it. And talking about the stones, my son Craig is going to be here from Denver in just a few days, and he helped me dig this pond over 20 years ago, and it's still a pond, and I still have to maintain it while he's in Denver. So here's some pictures, and I dug these up out of the archives. There's some pictures here. This is my backyard, and during the time this crew you see here, we had a crew of many people. I think it was 13 altogether in this guy's family. His name was Jose. He did a wonderful job, and it's lasted more than 20 years. And he did a great job. And he had this great idea. He knew I was doing motorcycles. In fact, he had a motorcycle. And he said, I could build you this ramp going down there. And he had this great idea. And at the time, I just didn't have the $10,000 it would have taken to make the cement and pour the foundation. And he wanted to put a roof over it and a storm door so snow couldn't get in there and everything. And now, at this point in my life, I can't go back and undo it because I'd have to undo all the other work he did and match the stones and everything. But what a mistake. I count that. In fact, Karen counts it too as the biggest mistake of all the things we've ever done to this house in almost 30 years. We spent so much time and energy, and this crew that was here, this took them 4 months to do my backyard. And they did it in the winter when they were unemployed. That's why we got such a great deal on the job. And they did a wonderful job. Karen fed them every day donuts. We had a 30-cup coffee maker going day and night for them. They were the nicest guys in the world. Thank you, Jose, and your crew.